Hey everyone, I'm Derek, and welcome to AITA Reddit Stories. We're looking at some of the most popular and/or interesting stories from the subreddit where people post real-life situations gone wrong, and tell their side of the story and users judge whether the poster was in the wrong. Today we're counting down our picks for the top 5 AITA sleeping naked stories. Number 5. AITA for asking my roommates to not knock on my door? Asked my roommates to send me a text instead of knocking on my door because they would do it so often and at all times of the day. They said it gives off an unfriendly vibe. I rent a room in a house with 5 other people. Been here for just under a year now. Everyone was friends before I moved in and they have an open door policy with each other. I'm not about that, so I told them that I'd prefer it if they knocked on my door before entering. This shouldn't have been an issue, but they were literally knocking on my door at least 4-5 times a day asking about random things around the house or just striking up a conversation. I feel bad because they're super friendly, but I'm kinda introverted and like being left alone. Plus they would knock on my door all hours of the day, multiple times in the middle of the night asking me to join them during their hangouts. Other times they knock on my door, I'd be sleeping, in the middle of something important, or just straight up naked because I felt like it. To prevent further annoyance on my end, I politely asked them that unless it's an emergency, just shoot me a text instead of knocking on my door. I figured this would create a boundary and give me the space I needed. I guess they got really offended because one of the guys pulled me aside and said that my request gave off an unfriendly vibe and came across as rude. I didn't know how to respond to that, so I just apologized. I mean, I guess I could see how they could take it that way, but at the end of the day, I'm renting a room in the house, and if I want to be left alone, I should be able to have that without confrontation. AITA? Number 4. AITA for brushing my teeth and shaving in the bathroom while my roommate's girlfriend was sleeping naked in the bathtub? I, 24M, live in an apartment with 2 other guys. For this I'll call them Chris, 24M, and Adam, 25M. Sometimes Chris's girlfriend, who I'll call Olivia, 22F, comes over to stay with him overnight. We all share one bathroom. It's obviously got the standard toilet and sink, and one of those shower-bath combos. It's actually a pretty good tub, it has a lot of space and it's comfy to lie in. This probably led to what happened. So a few days ago Olivia was staying overnight with Chris like I mentioned she does. I was aware she was here. The next morning I got up and went to the bathroom to get showered, brush my teeth, shave, etc. For context, I was wearing my boxer briefs. When I got to the bathroom door, I noticed that for some reason the light had been left on. Then when I went in I saw Olivia sleeping in the tub. She must have went for a bath that night and fell asleep in it. She was obviously in the nude like she would be having a bath. I thought for a second that I should wake her up, but I thought to myself that it would be better to just leave her and come back later for a shower. I was thinking that if I did that she wouldn't know and I wouldn't embarrass her. Obviously showering was off the table, but I decided to just quickly brush my teeth and go for a shave. I brushed my teeth fine. Then I got out my electric razor. It only makes a small buzzing noise, so I thought it would be fine. But a few seconds after I turned it on and started using it, I heard a loud scream and a splash. I looked over and saw Olivia standing up in the tub with her hands over her boobs. I nearly shat myself and started apologizing while I picked up my stuff and walked out. I saw Chris in the hallway and explained what happened. Olivia then walked out and started getting hysterical and started shouting about how I scared her. I apologized to both of them again. Chris actually took it quite well but calmly said I should have just walked out when I saw her. Chris said to me he doesn't think it's a big deal a while later, but Olivia is still pissed off at me. I've told my girlfriend, she also sometimes comes over to stay with me, about it, and she says that if that was her and Chris or Adam that happened to, she'd be startled at first but she'd just laugh it off afterwards, and Olivia was blowing it out of proportion. I also asked Adam, who wasn't there that morning, for his 2 cents, but he said he's staying out of it. What do you guys think? Number 3. AITA for asking my mom to stop telling people about my boyfriend's butt crack? This is ridiculous, but my mom thinks I'm being a stuck-up meanie, so here goes. Due to recent events, the uni dorm closed down and my boyfriend, 19, and I, 19F, moved in with my parents. We do our part to contribute and mainly stay in our room when we're there anyways, so there hasn't been many problems. We bought a new bedroom door handle with a lock many moons ago but sometimes forget to lock it. Well, we used to forget, but now we always lock it. Because a few months ago in the middle of the morning my mom busted into my room while we were sleeping to retrieve a pair of her shoes that I had borrowed the day before. And we were half naked, obviously, and my boyfriend was wearing only boxers and allegedly had a bit of booty crack poking out. She was in and out before either of us could wake up. Cue the next day. She tells me, "I saw BF's butt crack and I am traumatized. That is just not natural," and she recounted the entire story from her perspective. She wasn't serious, she was laughing a lot like it was the most hilarious thing. I was a little annoyed that she didn't even try to knock or anything, but I figured it was my fault for not locking the door. Whatever. But she proceeded to tell everyone. Like, my dad, my brother, my brother's wife, all the aunties, her friends, random people. With those same 2 lines she told me, laughing like it was the punchline of the year. It's been months and she's still telling people. My poor boyfriend is so shy and this has really embarrassed him plus creeped him out. He doesn't like that she's so obsessed with his butt crack. So I, in an admittedly annoyed tone, told her to stop and that it's weird. And she got offended and thinks I'm stuck up. AITA? Number 2. AITA for sleeping naked on top of the covers to teach my flatmate's girlfriend a lesson? So I, 21, guy, live with my childhood best friend, 22, also a guy, and have done for 2 years now. Up until last week, things were perfect between us. However, he recently got a new girlfriend, 23, lady, and she honestly seems absolutely great except for one thing. She seemingly has a complete aversion to knocking. She and I have quite a lot in common, and I actually like spending time with her. However, it bugs the hell out of me when she just barges into my room without knocking first. Now, she's never walked in on me doing anything untoward. I'm usually just chilling on my bed or studying at my desk. However, on at least 7 separate occasions now she's done it first thing in the morning to ask if I want coffee. I sleep naked. Every time prior to the last one, I've been under the covers and she hasn't seen anything. I always point out that she could have and she just giggles and says, but I didn't. When she stayed over last week, in order to make my point, I intentionally slept on top of the covers. Sure enough, she barges in at 7 a.m., begins to ask if I want coffee and sees my you-know-what. She immediately backed out of the room and didn't speak to me for the rest of the day. My mate later pulled me aside and said I was bang out of order, accused me of deliberately exposing myself and pointed out that I'd threatened to do it before. I literally just said, okay, but what if I had no covers and you saw everything before? They're now framing this to others that I'm some sick creep who intentionally got naked and lay in wait of her because that's how I get my rocks off, and I'm kinda seeing how it came off that way. AITA for doing this? Number 1. AITA for sleeping top naked in my bedroom? My 18F mom and I live in a crummy apartment complex in New York. Our apartment itself isn't crummy. We've taken a lot of pride in making the inside of our apartment look nicer than it really is, but truth be told the building is crummy. So much so that the radiator in my room is broken, and I get heat every day of the year, even in summer. I prefer not to open my windows during summer as well because all types of questionable creepy crawlies like to come through the window, so I usually sleep on top of the covers or without pants. Last night it was too hot, so I slept without a shirt or bra. I have pretty huge boobs. It's no secret, but I was in the comfort of my bedroom and I keep my door closed when I sleep. This morning I woke up to find my mom staring at me. She scared me shitless, especially because I have a loft bed and was making direct eye contact with her as soon as I opened my eyes. She stood there and screamed at me for 20 minutes telling me to put a shirt on and calling me a ruthless whore for sleeping without a shirt while her boyfriend was here. I put a pillow in front of my body and closed my eyes to go back to sleep. This wasn't good enough, and she ripped the pillow from my arms and told me to put on some clothes before her boyfriend came in here and saw me like this. I told her I keep my door closed for a reason, and if she's worried about her boyfriend bothering me, that's more telling of her boyfriend, not me. She was absolutely seething and told me I'm to live under her rules while I'm in her house, and that includes not being trashy and sleeping with some clothes on. I figured she was being ridiculous, but her boyfriend heard the commotion, ended up coming into the room to get her, without knocking mind you, and left me flailing to find a sheet to cover with. He was kind of eyeing me and told me my mom was right and I need to sleep with clothes on. I'm having a hard time understanding. Am I really an asshole here?